Okay, this is lesson 2, and this you're kind of working backwards dealing with normal distributions. This particular question is asking us to talk about bed length. In designing a new bed, you want the length of the bed to equal or exceed the height of at least 95% of all men. What is the minimum length? And it says use that the mean is 69.0 inches and the standard deviation is 2.8 inches. Well, this is a little bit different. Now, we're so used to using the z-score formula, and that's exactly what we want to do, but the problem is we don't have a data point and we don't directly have a z-score, so we have two unknowns in this formula. So the question is, how do you find one? Well, they're asking you to figure out the minimum length, so you're actually asked to find the data point. So in our z-score formula, when you do data point minus the mean over the standard deviation, we know the mean, we know the standard deviation. We're asked to find this, so we need to figure out how to get this. And even though it's not stated directly in the problem, you have enough information in order to be able to find that with this 95%. Okay, remember, a percentage, if you convert that to a decimal, it's also a probability. So you want to have a probability of 0.95, of at least 0.95. Well, the way you do this in the calculator, use the feature we call inverse norm. It's kind of like you're undoing the normal distribution. What you're going to put in there is the percentage that you want it to equal. So you're going to do inverse norm of 0.95. Make sure you change it to a decimal. Okay? When you do inverse norm, it's found in the same place where you do normal CDF. Go to second bars, which is your distribution. It's number 3. And you put in 0.95. Now, since this is a z-score, you want to round this to 2 decimal places. Okay, that is a z-score that's associated with having a probability of at least 95%. Okay, so that's what you're going to do first. And then you plug everything that you know in and solve for x. So it's kind of like you're doing an algebraic equation. So I'm going to do 1.64 equals data point minus the mean divided by the standard deviation. Now, if you haven't had algebra, I'm going to kind of go over how to do this. If you're trying to solve for x, the first thing you want to do is get rid of this 2.8 in the denominator. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 2.8. What that's going to do is it's going to cancel out here. And I'm going to do 2.8 times 1.64. And don't do any more rounding until the very end. Okay, when I do that, I get 4.592. Okay, now to solve for x, I want to undo the subtraction. So you would add. Okay, when you do this, you're going to get 73.592. Okay, that's the height you want your bed to be. Now, of course, if you were someone designing a bed, you wouldn't use these kind of decimal points. You want to make sure you round this to a nice whole number. So we're going to say that we want our bed length to be approximately 74 inches. And that way it takes care of our rounding issue too. In case we did round a little bit down too much, we'll make sure that 95% of men still fit in that bed. So our bed needs to be at least 74 inches.